Hello everyone, it's Joanne, and I have another junk journal to show. This is another fall themed one, and you might be like, it's not fall yet, but I'm trying to get a jump on it, and what is it? It's getting towards the end of July here, and August and September and back to school and Halloween and all of that will be here before you know it. Not to be a Debbie Downer, because I do love summer, and I enjoy summer. So, yeah, so anyway, I wanted to show you another junk journal. I have another one too. I have not had a super busy week so far this week, which has been kind of nice because I've had a couple busy weeks before this. And this is, and so I've had, wait a minute, I was like getting distracted. Squirrel. Yeah, so it hasn't been super busy like I was saying this week, so I've had more time to craft, and that is so nice. And isn't it therapeutic? So anyway, I'll get into it. So this is just a ribbon closure, so a simple closure there. I'll put that off to the side. And I'm kind of proud of this cover, I have to say. Collaged a bit and added some layers, and then have this paper flower with a button on the top. So yeah, just really like that. This is actually a pretty magazine image. So it just shows how you can make a true junk journal, with junk. Here's a little charm that I made that's on here. It has a little key and a tassel and some buttons and beads and yeah. And I usually glue these. I don't know if other creators do that. I glue a little bit at the end because I feel like when I'm using this wax seam binding thread or binding thread, I guess you call it. I have some waxed, I have some regular, I have some like hemp. But when I use the waxed, I feel like sometimes the beads can slide off or something. So I usually do just a little tiny bead of glue at the end. But anyway, so yeah, so here you have it. Let me go over a little bit. Make sure I'm in the center. Okay, so little card there, some stickers at the bottom, and so I would say all of my junk journals, I'm thinking all of them, maybe some don't have, but I feel like most of them, I'm going to clarify that, I guess, have vintage and newer materials. So, and I'm saying that because I'm seeing some of this. This is not actually vintage, it's faux vintage, but this little card is vintage, and then I inked it to make it look even more vintage. But yeah, so the majority of my junk journals are going to have a mixture of vintage and newer items. So yeah, and a little ticket in here, a little surprise in here, a little tag. You could do those off kilter, is kind of fun. This is a vintage sticker actually. Yeah, this is from, oh my gosh, I'm blanking out on it in a minute. Anne of Green Gables, there we go. Just took my brain a minute to access it. It's a quote from Anne of Green Gables that says, "I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers." So if you're really a fall gal, you really love fall, then you're gonna like that quote, and you're gonna like this junk journal. So yeah, and this is a vintage dictionary sheet that this is on. Some little surprises tucked in here, a vintage recipe card, another little paper. I'll leave those as a little surprise. We have to have an element of mystery, don't we? All right. A little magazine, vintage themed magazine page, but it's not actually a vintage magazine. Okay, another quote: "The greatest glory in life lies not in never failing, but in being able to rise again and again." So that, I like to add quotes when I can in my journals, and wording a little bit here and there. Happiness depends on ourselves. Just some layered journal tags and a vintage recipe card. Ticket. I like using tickets. I'm kind of addicted to tickets. A little tassel here on a little bulb pin. Some lace on the edging. Okay, and this is a little pocket. The kind of collaged journal tag. And some washi tape down the side here. And a little sticker, looks like a newspaper. Some vintage music sheet. And a collaged journal tag again. I love making journal tags and collaging, so it's my forte, I guess. This is just a little journal tag that's I inked up to look vintage. It's not actually, well, it is vintage actually. It's a vintage scrapbooking page. What am I doing here? I can't open it. There we go. All right, slide that in. And this is an image from Anne of Green Gables too, but it's just more generic. I mean, it doesn't have to be Anne. So I just included it in here because I thought it looked pretty on that black, this black construction paper. Kind of made it pop out. As we live, so we learn. It says it's a Yiddish proverb. Okay, a French vegetable and plant sheet. Okay, and this, true friends are always together in spirit. And then a collaged tag again. I collaged a bunch here on this pocket. Okay, to thine own self be true, which is by Shakespeare, of course. Cut a card down and made it into a little tag. And again, another ticket. So, okay. Collaged tag again. This is so you could add some wording in the middle or a picture. That was kind of fun. A little side pocket here. Okay, little tiny pocket. I'll leave that a surprise of what's inside. I liked this black paper. I just think it makes those cream colored items or white items really pop, or if you wanted to add something pastel. And here's a fun circular floral tag. And another pocket here, and a collage tag. Okay, some collaging on here too. Made this into a tab, the two of these foam stickers, sunflower stickers. This is a vintage book page with a nice image on it. Oh, I guess that's that's a vintage music sheet, because I saw the other side here. I'm like, oh, yeah. But it had some fun photos and images, so... Some of those older, I just got a load of, from a friend of mine, 2 big boxes of vintage music sheets. And a lot of those older music books have some of these vintage photographs and vintage drawings and images. So really fun to page through them. Again, a bunch of collaging with the tags and the journal cards and the pocket. This is this is, I was going to say it looks like an envelope, but no, this is a... like kind of not a scrapbook paper. I think it was a book image. I don't know. Can't remember where I get all my little doodads sometimes. This was a vintage book, a vintage children's book, and I just tore out one of the pages from it. It says, a comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. So basically, you know, add some adventure into your life. Don't always stay in the comfort zone. This is a belly band and another collaged tag. Okay, and a sticker. One of those fake vintage magazines. They look vintage, but they're not. Belly band with a little journal card there. Again, a vintage, that other side of the vintage dictionary page. Just a little flap with a little sticker. I inked this one up on my last journal that I showed on my channel. I did not use any of the vintage inking. Well, vintage, I mean, sorry. I think the name is Vintage Photo. That's what I'm talking about. Let me show it again, just in case you're not familiar with it. I know when I first started junk journaling, I wasn't familiar with. I bought extra daubers from scrapbook.com. So that's one of these, and you can tear off these. Like once this gets really icky, you know, from so much inking, you can do a new one. And this one I use all the time, so it's always, and I used to set my dauber on here. That's why it's got such a smudged top on it. And this is the Distress Oxide Vintage Photo ink. And so it's just nice to dab the edges of papers and, you know, so yeah, so there's that. So I tend to forget to use some other inks that I have. I have a bunch of inks and stamps, and I just forget. So the greatest oak was once a little nut who held its ground. So that's great for fall, and love that quote. Vintage, is this vintage? No. Magazine image that I folded up inside there. Use this as a pocket. So I'll keep that as a magical surprise for whoever purchases this. And a vintage children's book page, some washi tape, some little surprises in here. I think it's a vintage playing card and another just a journal tag, journal card. Love is the Beauty of the Soul by St. Augustine. Okay. And a little butterfly sticker up here in the corner. Make sure that it adheres. I just put that on last night, so... All right, and I don't often sign my work, but this one I did. I have a little sticker. It says homemade by Joanne. So I love using these file envelopes because they have a little surprise pocket in the back, and I have some surprises in there. I won't show you, so that if anyone wants to purchase it and wants to have some little surprise treats, they will have it. So there you have it. Let me know what you think of this one. And this is kind of my typical style of journaling, I would say, junk journaling. So let me know what you think. Be honest. I have a thick skin. No worries. If it's not your style, that's fine. All right. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I hope you're having a great day, and take care, and I will see you in my next video. All right, bye-bye.